It's safe to say every character at Halloween Horror Nights should be thrown behind bars for the crimes they've committed. And trust me, this has nothing to do with the fact that they've scared the absolute poo out of me time and time again. For over 30 plus years, Universal Studios has assembled a lineup of creepy cohorts unlike any theme park has ever seen. This is the history of every Halloween Horror Nights icon. The year was 1991, Universal's first year of running a Halloween event at their new Orlando theme park. The then coined Fright Nights only ran for 3 nights and had 1 haunted house. But that was fine, it was their first year and they kind of needed some time to figure it out. Fixated at the center of the event's marketing material, Beetlejuice, and the classic Universal monsters. In October of 1991, the original Beetlejuice movie was only 4 years old, and its main character still very much a draw at the park. Universal took advantage of the ghost with the most popularity, both during regular park operation and as the main character to promote their brand new Halloween event. The only problem, Beetlejuice wasn't a Universal character. Beetlejuice is owned by Warner Brothers, and they license him out to be used in other parks. Not only was Universal promoting their event with a character they didn't own, but they were also hoping to lean into more of an adult-oriented crowd, which would have been hard to do with such a mainstream star at the helm. The Universal monsters, on the other hand, could easily remain at the Horror Nights event, but would be regulated to a supporting role, as to not solely rely on Frankenstein's monster to sell tickets for 30 plus years. On the 5-year anniversary of the event, they attempted a similar promotional technique as they did with Beetlejuice. This time with a character named the Crypt Keeper from a horror comedy television show called Tales from the Crypt. It wasn't until the event's 10th year that Horror Nights would finally get their own star, Jack the Clown. Taking inspiration from both fictional and real-life clowns, Jack was what Universal creatives considered one of the scariest characters they could imagine. After all, studies show that by far the greatest fear of people in the United States isn't climate change, it isn't death, it's clowns. Jack's first appearance in the build-up to Halloween Horror Nights 10 saw him emerge from a Jack-in-the-Box. As the story goes, Jack Schmidt, born in the late 1800s at Shady Brook Sanitarium, left home at an early age to join the circus, Dr. Oddfellow's Carnival of Thrills, to be more exact. This is where Jack the Clown was born, entertaining circus patrons by day and stealing their children by night. Jack was not a good guy.
Halloween Horror Nights would not be what it is today without Jack the Clown, right? When they brought in Jack in 2000, it really changed the game.
In the summer of 2000, vacationing families entering City Walk Orlando would be greeted by not only a sign warning them that filming might be in progress, but would be subject to a sort of screen test Universal was conducting for their new character, Jack. Needless to say, they got the answer they wanted. Around the same time, Jack made his first public appearance right here in downtown Orlando. This publicity stunt saw Jack boarding a swan boat and circling around Lake Eola, gawking at passerbys. Whether or not this got the media coverage they were looking for might be an answer that's lost to time, since only a few photos of the incident exist online. What amazes me the most is that this stunt was some 16 years before the internet phenomenon of clowns appearing in public spaces had even started. Universal was really ahead of the game with this one. Jack's debut at the 2000 event would not only be a breath of fresh air for Horror Nights, but also set a precedent for years to come. Jack would make his return the following year in 2001, but that wasn't originally the plan. Universal fully intended on making Jack's chainsaw-wielding brother, Eddie, a new character, that year's main icon. They even shot the teaser commercial for it.
Now my brother's bringing me back, and I'm coming back with a couple of friends. Don't worry, I'm still a little bitter about the whole thing.
Universal's plan was to make this one of the most gruesome years yet, but decided against it considering how the general public was feeling following September 11th of that year.
Jack is kind of the host of Halloween Horror Nights. 3 nights left, right?
Yes, tonight and the next Friday and Saturday as well. They're not getting me back in the box that quickly this year, oh no.
Jack has become pretty much the face of Halloween Horror Nights. Now the craziest thing is, in 2001, he was supposed to be killed off by his brother Eddie, So there could have been another universe where we have no Jack the Clown.
I had a bit of a difficult childhood. My parents wanted a clown for a child, and so they bought me noses and big shoes and big hair. And the children taunted me. They used to tease me, and now it's my turn!
Following the end of the 2001 Haunt season, Universal began planning a monumental shift for their Halloween event. In an attempt to help promote their new Orlando park, Horror Nights would take place at Islands of Adventure. A new home, at least for a few years, meant a new icon. The Caretaker. Dr. Albert Kane was the caretaker of Shady Oaks Cemetery and enjoyed spending his free time digging up bodies to conduct bizarre experiments on the recently deceased.
You know, I'm starting to think none of these icons are good guys.
The Caretaker? Oh, he is just kind of like what you just don't want to turn into as a human.
No, he's got
once you
really
die.
dark black eyes, and you've got the long hat. It's kind of like an undead version of like Abraham Lincoln. No? Lanky, tall, with a big black hat. That's what it is.
I agree. It's the hat. I guess.
A little bit.
Equipped with a plethora of surgical tools, Dr. Albert Kane was always at the ready for those willing, or more often, unwilling to go under the knife. During his first year at the event, the Caretaker was a part of a scare zone in the port of entry area of Islands of Adventure called Port of Evil. He was also featured in his very own haunted house called Scream House. This does not have any relation to the popular horror film of a similar name. This haunted house followed the story of the Caretaker and his unsavory science projects. The house was so well received by guests attending the event that year that it received 2 sequels in Scream House Revisited in 2003 and Scream House The Resurrection in 2006. The Caretaker would go on to make countless appearances at future events, most of which were inside of original houses or scare zones, but back at Islands of Fear, they were looking for a more cinematic approach for the following year's event in 2003.
Nothing compares to real blood on film. It's the only way to really capture the emotion, the fear, the reality. My actors only get one take. It's a short take.
The director, real name Paolo Ravinsky, was introduced at Halloween Horror Nights 13 as a snuff film director willing to do anything for his art, even if it meant physically torturing his on-screen talent for a good take.
Honestly, it surprises me that it took Universal, a company known for its Hollywood blockbuster films, this long to create a character like the director.
During his debut year, the director was featured in a scare zone in the Port of Evil, a legit volunteer-based stage show that saw real guests covered in spiders and scorpions, and a haunted house, All Night Die-In, where guests would step through the silver screen and into the director's homemade versions of iconic slasher films. Except this time, you're the victim. Talk about a year Universal could never pull off today. Unlicensed versions of Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy, and Leatherface, not to mention the lawsuit nightmare that was that street show.
And unlike Caretaker and Jack that came before him, everything with the director, from the marketing material to like how he appeared at the event, what offerings he headlined, felt like tangible items. It didn't feel like a character of like fantasy. It felt like this guy could really exist, and there are people like him that do actually exist in the real world.
Much like the Caretaker, the director would get a sequel to his first house and make a handful of cameos over the next 20 years of the event. For what it's worth, the director might be one of my personal favorite icons, a true artiste of his time. For the event's 3rd year at Islands of Adventure, Universal turned to the park's roots in literature-based stories for their Tales of Terror event. Introducing the Storyteller. Our first female lead in the world of original HHN characters, the Storyteller, or how our friends might know her, Elizabeth Strict, that year told the tale of Terra Cruentis, a quote, Middle-earth meets modern world that was ruled by the Terra Queen and took over nearly every part of Islands of Fear.
So the very first year that I attended Halloween Horror Nights was actually 2005, when the Storyteller was the icon. Growing up in Orlando, seeing all the commercials on TV and everything for Halloween Horror Nights commercials, I always was really, I don't want want to say inspired by the Storyteller, but hers was always very creepy. You had like the bed of nails, different stuff like that.
The following year, the Storyteller would return alongside Jack, the caretaker, and the director for the event's Sweet 16 celebration. It's here where the Storyteller's story was more fleshed out in her very own house, Dungeon of Terror Retold. It was around this time that the term icon began to become distorted. Halloween Horror Nights has always used the word icon to describe that particular year's main character. But as the years went on, more and more side characters began popping up. Promotion shifted heavily to the famous horror film characters that were featured at the event, and we got to the point where most diehard fans were questioning who even counts as an icon.
The Horror Nights icon is someone that essentially kicks off Horror Nights.
A Halloween Horror Nights icon is more than just a character.
They're the character that's representative of that year.
They're the iconic moment character that you see on all the marketing. You see them when you first walk in. They all have a legacy. They intertwine with each other, and the lore goes deep.
The icon is like the focal point of the event.
Someone who like has this insane backstory, this crazy mythos.
But I feel like it's like a personification of not only like the event theme, like whatever vibe they're going with for the event, but also like what's going on with horror at the time.
Someone who just kind of gives you that feeling that they are all surrounding the event. There's a scare zone typically after them. There's a house.
Is Lil Boo an icon? No.
I told you.
No, not an icon. I mean, he's an icon, but not like an icon.
Following HHN Sweet 16, we had Jack's fourth appearance at the event where he hosted the Carnival of Carnage, a circus-style show. But arguably the main draw to that year's event was Freddy Krueger, Jason, and Leatherface. For the first time in nearly a decade, an icon was present, but not exactly considered the focal point of the marketing for the event. The next year, in 2008, we would see the debut of an old character with a new spin.
Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary comes alive only at Universal's Halloween Horror Nights.
I don't know if you know this, but if you say Bloody Mary 3 times into a mirror, she will claw your eyes out in your sleep. I wouldn't know because I'm not going to be trying that.
Bloody Mary is one of the most widely recognized urban legends of all time. If you stand in front of a mirror and chant her name 3 times, you will bring her forth. You will conjure her. She's a spirit that will bring darkness and evil upon you. And so every guest to Halloween Horror Nights 18 is stepping through Mary's mirror and gonna live that nightmare. Universal creatives were tasked with writing their own original backstory to the already household name villain. They worked alongside legendary horror makeup artist Bobby Weiner to create the character's official design. Not many casual HHN fans know Bloody Mary as an icon of the event, because after her initial year, we really didn't see her again, in any official capacity that is. See, the trademark for Bloody Mary was actually owned by Bobby Weiner, and the character was technically licensed to Universal for that year and that year alone. Rather than having to pay up each time they want to use her, Universal would opt to reserve Mary for unnamed cameos in houses and sometimes even merch designs.
They can't put her on merch anymore, but they kind of put a Bloody Mary inside the director's film reel right there.
In 2009, Universal found themselves returning to the drawing board to create their next box office icon, the Usher. Julian Browning, a die-hard horror film buff and employee at Universal's Palace Theater, is a real stickler for the rules. If you do so much as make a peep during a screening, you better watch out.
The Usher, when you're sitting in a movie theater and you see somebody yelling in the background, you kind of want somebody to be the good guy and come and take him out for you.
You're saying he's the good guy?
He is absolutely the good guy. I think out of all the icons, you can look at his reasoning for what he does and be like, you know what? That kind of makes sense.
The Usher was featured all over Halloween Horror Nights that year, his minions in the entryway and his own house called Silver Screams. But what I loved the most was the promotion. Universal sent the Usher to a handful of local news stations to help promote and sell some tickets for the event, as long as the newscasters agreed to not talk during the previews.
I am, of course, the Usher of the Universal Palace Theater, Halloween Horror Nights 19 ripped from the silver screen.
The Usher would in fact make his return the following year for the big 20th anniversary celebration of Horror Nights. After 10 years of icons wreaking havoc on the streets of Universal, it was time to introduce one to rule them all. As it turns out, in 2010, Universal Creative would be looking to flip the script in terms of their icons' origin stories.
No longer were these loosely connected villains acting on their own. They were controlled by fear.
Aduru, or more widely known as Fear, was introduced as a Nexus character in the Horror Nights lore. Fear acts as an evil ringleader to nearly every Horror Nights icon of the past and was responsible for many pivotal moments in the event's history, without us even knowing it. Each icon we've discussed to this point is a minion of Fear, and each represents a character trait that Fear embodies. Jack the Clown, Chaos. The Caretaker, Death. The Director, Sacrifice. The Storyteller, Legend. And the Usher, Vengeance. Fear would make his first physical appearance at the event's 20th anniversary, aptly called 20 Years of Fear, in a scare zone, Fear Revealed, that was his home base that year. This would also be home to nearly every icon and reoccurring character the event had created up to that point. By 2010, Universal had really started cracking down on their no photo or no video recording rule inside of their haunted houses. But luckily for HHN fans and theme park historians like myself, this was located in a scare zone and not a soundstage, making it a great spot for photo ops with your favorite icons. This scare zone would also see an early appearance from one of Horror Nights' future stars, but more on that later. For Horror Nights 21, all bets were off when Lady Luck hit the scene. A self-proclaimed enchanting seductress, Lady Luck has the ability to shift from human to a twisted monster. In Your Luck Runs Out, a scare zone in the Sting Alley area of the park, throughout the night you would witness Lady Luck's full transformation.
There's something I love about having a full-on scare zone inside this alley, and without her own house, this was probably the next best thing.
Lady Luck would be at the forefront of advertising that year, and the haunted houses featured references to the new icon throughout. Outside of the 2011 event, Lady Luck has only made appearances during anniversary years of HHN. In 2015, for the 25th anniversary, we got a huge icon scare zone in the Hollywood area, with tons of nods to Horror Nights past. During Jack's many appearances at Halloween Horror Nights, he began to accrue a gang of sorts. His brother Eddie would often pop up along with a new clown who appeared to be the female counterpart to Jack. Her name is Chance.
You won't stand a chance.
Chance first appeared back in 2007 for the Carnival of Carnage, and this is where all the speculation started to happen. As Joker had Harley Quinn, Jack had Chance, and the similarities you could clearly tell.
She made 3 other appearances before she finally took center stage as the icon of HHN 26. In Lunatic's Playground 3D, You Won't Stand a Chance, she was given a platform to tell her story. This house was a clown-ridden, trippy nightmare of a time, giving a neon blacklit look into Chance's twisted origins. Outside, you'd find a scare zone dedicated to Chance's minions and fellow recently escaped Shady Brook patients. Located in the main entryway of the park, there was no escape from these clowns.
Hurry, hurry, hurry! It's Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights 30. And they brought me, Jack, to bring the havoc and the chaos. A little word of advice. Never go alone.
30 Years of Fear was supposed to happen on the 30th anniversary in 2020, but for health and safety purposes was pushed back to the following year. Jack was back, and he brought all of his friends with him.
For 30 years, they've haunted your thoughts, plagued your nightmares, tortured your imagination. Now they're all back to make your most twisted dreams a reality.
We're back. And this time, it's all of us.
HHN Icons Captured was the culmination of the past 30 years of original Halloween characters that Universal had created.
Essentially with this house, you would be taken through each of the different icons' rooms. Jack and Chance kind of had the bigger room, and then at the end, you would have an icon that was the winner, and it would be a different icon that would rotate out throughout the night.
The Storyteller section was fantastic. They had a brand new iteration of her where you can see a new evolution that I would love to see them bring to life again, kind of giving us this metamorphosis of a character way past when she was already here prior.
And obviously the Usher room stuck out for me. It's just like you're walking into a movie theater. You had all the little candy for sale in the glass, you had the popcorn smell, and he would pop out with his flashlight and giving you the shh, quiet. Like that was just, for me, peak.
For someone who didn't go through this house, there was a rotation of icons at the end of the house, and everybody would get a different icon. So we were just like, oh, I hope it's Jack, I hope it's Jack. And it was your 30th birthday on top of that.
It was my 30th birthday.
So we were like, okay, we have to manifest this for his birthday.
Yeah.
It was a huge thing at the end. Oh, it was just such a memorable,
I could say, maybe I teared up a little bit, but maybe that could be off the record, but we'll see about that.
From a love letter of icons past to starting all over again, Universal turned right around and pumped out 4 new icons in the years to follow. Again, whether or not this is 100% recognized by Universal or the HHN fandom is debatable. We had the Pumpkin Lord in 2022 making a comeback from the previous year's Wicked Growth House, now sitting atop his pumpkin throne, taunting guests. We finally got Dr. Oddfellow, the ringleader of Jack's circus, and the one who technically killed Jack back in the day. And HHN 33, where we saw double vision in Sinister and Surreal. In total, anywhere from 15 to 25 different icons have existed since Halloween Horror Nights' inception. I guess the big question is, who is the greatest?
Not to give the basic bitch answer, but like, it's Jack, right? It's gotta be Jack.
Pretty obvious that Jack the Clown is like numero uno on everybody's list. I mean, he's been around the longest.
I am pretty biased, but I would say Jack the Clown.
It's definitely Jack the Clown.
Jack the Clown.
In searching for the perfect way to end out this video, I remembered something very important. Jack wouldn't be that hard to find. In fact, I knew exactly where I could find him. So I hopped on a plane from Orlando to Las Vegas.
The reason I am here in Las Vegas is because about a year ago, Universal released this photo. Along with it were details on a new year-round horror experience coming to the Area 15 district of Vegas. So I am here on the official opening day of Universal's Horror Unleashed to see the clown himself. And I heard there's some pretty cool haunted houses in here as well.
Horror Unleashed is a concept unlike anything Universal has done before. It's all indoors, which thank God since it's in Vegas. There are 4 haunted houses: Universal Monsters, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Exorcist Believer, and Scarecrow the Reaping. There are multiple bars, specialty food items, great vibes all around, and oh, yes, the reason I am here. A new stage show featuring Jack the Clown and Chance. It's hard to explain exactly what this show is, kind of like a mini variety show with dancing, Jack riffing, and some fun crowd participation. I was just happy I got to see the dastardly duo find a new home, at least for the time being.
The 2 greatest icons of all time. Do you have any? You have a message? Do you have a message for your adoring fans?
Oh, just come here in Vegas, baby.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
Overall, Horror Unleashed is a great addition to the attraction lineup here at Area 15, but would I go again? If I'm already in Vegas, probably. It definitely seems like it's made for the fans that are new to Horror Nights. My biggest downside was that most of these haunted houses were near carbon copies of ones that we've seen in Orlando at some point in the past 10 years. All the way down to the costumes, layout, and even sometimes the audio triggers during the scares. Don't get me wrong, it's a great time capsule from years past, but as a die-hard HHN fan, I was hoping for some new experiences. So now that we've covered the full history of Halloween Horror Nights icons, let me ask you, Who is the greatest icon? Is it Jack? Is it Chance? Is it Fear? Let your voices be heard in the comments down below. And it's really the only way I know you made it all the way to the end of this video, by commenting below. Thank you again. Thank you.
Shout out to Roosevelt's for all these spooky threads I'm wearing in this video. There are tons of killer Halloween drops that are happening as we speak over on their site. And for 15% off your first order, follow the link in the description below.
This is the part where I usually ask you to subscribe to the channel, which if you'd like, that's great. But my main goal today is to have you follow at least one of the amazing Halloween Horror Nights specific creators I featured in this video.
All of which have some amazing content to get you ready to visit HHN this season.
So go find them. You can find their links in the description of this video as well. As always, I am Ryan. This has been For the Love of Theme Parks, and I will see you all in the fog. See you guys soon. Thanks.